All right, welcome back. So we've journeyed through ancient Greece, and now we're heading into the Islamic Golden Age to talk about a truly brilliant thinker, Abu Nasr al-Farabi. This guy was such a big deal, so good at breaking down Aristotle's ideas, that they actually called him the second teacher, Aristotle, of course, being the first. What Farabi tried to do was amazing. He wanted to weave together Greek philosophy and Islamic theology, and out of that, he built this incredible, detailed vision of the perfect society, a vision that pretty much all comes down to the character of its leader. So here it is. This is the huge question that drives everything Al-Farabi thinks about politics. And for him, this wasn't just some thought experiment. His answer was a clear, definite yes. In his world, it's not enough to have good laws or solid institutions. You need a top-tier ruler whose own personal goodness and wisdom are the very source of the country's health, its mission, and its ability to bring true happiness to everyone. Okay, let's really dig into this because what Farabi means by happiness is super important. He's not talking about being rich or having fun. He's talking about sa'ada, which is more like the ultimate perfection of your soul, a kind of deep intellectual and spiritual fulfillment. So the whole point of politics for him is to build a society that lets every single person reach that ultimate happiness. And the only way to do that, he argues, is with a single perfect leader who gets the big picture and knows how to lead everyone there. To really get his idea of leadership, we first have to understand the perfect society this leader is meant to run. He calls it Al-Madina al-Fadila, or the virtuous city. And this is way more than just a well-organized town. It's a society designed to be a mirror image of the perfect, ordered universe itself. The number one thing about the virtuous city is that everybody is on the same page. Every single person, from the craftsman to the soldier, is working together, not for their own personal gain, but for that one shared goal, achieving that collective sa'ada, or ultimate happiness. And this whole complex system of cooperation isn't random. It's all carefully directed by the supreme leader, who acts as the glue holding the entire society together. Farabi helps us understand his ideal city by showing us what it's not. He talks about these non-virtuous cities. He calls them ignorant because the people in them just don't get the true purpose of life. They're all chasing lesser goals. Some are just trying to survive, others are obsessed with money, some are just chasing pleasure, and others are all about getting power and control. And because their goals are all wrong, their societies are a mess. They're conflicted, unhealthy, and just plain disordered. Now, this is where Farabi's thinking gets really cool. He uses this powerful analogy comparing the virtuous city to a perfectly healthy body. Every citizen is like an organ, with a specific job to do for the whole system. But the health of every single part depends completely on the health of the heart. For Farabi, the leader, the Rais, is the heart. They take in the essential knowledge and wisdom and then pump it through the whole society, giving life, order, and purpose to everything. And that brings us right to the core of Farabi's political thought, the leader, the Rais. If the city is a body and the leader is its heart, then figuring out who is qualified to be that leader is the most important question there is. This person isn't just a boss. They're the bridge between the divine world of ideas and the real world of politics. So how does a leader like this even come to exist? Farabi says there are two absolute must-haves. First, they have to be born for it. That means having a natural talent, a kind of built-in excellence. But, just having potential isn't enough. So second, that potential has to be fully developed through hard work, intense training, and building virtuous habits. Nature gives you the raw material. You have to forge yourself into a ruler. Now, within this framework, Farabi makes a really important distinction. He says there are two possible types of supreme leaders who can build and run the virtuous city. And this difference is key to how he connects divine revelation with human reason. So, the top-tier ruler is the Ilk Reis, the prophet. This leader has such a perfect mind that they can directly connect with what Farabi called the active intellect. Think of it as this cosmic source of all truth and knowledge. This connection means the prophet gets divine revelations and can lay down the fundamental laws for the city. The second type is the Raisus Sonne, the successor ruler. This leader is a philosopher. Now, they can't get new revelations, but their mind is so sharp they can fully understand, interpret, and apply the laws that the original prophet created. For that first ruler, the prophet founder, Farabi sets the bar incredibly high, like almost impossibly high. He says this person has to be born with a perfect set of 12 specific natural qualities. This isn't just a wish list, it's a blueprint for the perfect human being, literally destined by nature to lead.
So let's break down this blueprint. The first few qualities are all about physical and mental horsepower. They need a perfectly healthy body. Their mind has to be razor sharp, able to get the point of things in an instant. They need a flawless memory, incredible insight to see the big picture from just a tiny clue, and finally, they have to be an amazing speaker, able to explain deep truths in a way everyone can understand.
Okay, let's keep going, because the next set of conditions are all about their moral character. This leader has to have a deep, passionate love for learning. They have to naturally love truth and hate lies. They have to be self-controlled, with no interest in the cheap thrills that define those ignorant cities. And they have to be high-minded, always drawn to what's honorable and disgusted by what's vulgar.
And the last few traits really lock in their moral perfection. They have to be totally uninterested in money and material stuff. It's just not important to them. They must have a natural love of justice and a deep hatred for tyranny. And critically, they need to have unshakable courage, always ready to act decisively and without fear to do the right thing. I mean, even Farabi himself admitted that finding someone like this is a once-in-a-generation kind of event. So what happens when this kind of divinely gifted prophet founder just isn't around? Well, that's where the next best thing comes in, the philosopher ruler. This person not only has to have all 12 of those innate qualities, but they also have to have mastered 6 additional super important skills through years of hard work.
Now look closely at this list. The very first requirement is that they must be a philosopher. That's the bedrock, the non-negotiable foundation of their rule. On top of that, they have to be an expert in the original divine laws, be able to create new laws that are consistent with the old ones, have practical wisdom for new problems, be a great speaker who can guide people, and finally, be physically able to lead in war. So at this point, Farabi runs into a pretty obvious real-world problem. What if you just can't find one single person who has this mind-blowing combination of 12 natural virtues and 6 learned skills? Does the whole idea of the virtuous city just fall apart? And this is where Farabi shows he's a pragmatist. He says, okay, if you can't find the ideal in one person, you can spread the job out. You can have a council of rulers. The 6 essential skills can be divided up. So you might have one person who's the philosopher, another who's the legal expert, a third who has amazing practical wisdom, and so on. As long as they all work together in harmony, the virtuous city can survive. But, and this is a really big but, even with this practical idea of a ruling council, Farabi makes it crystal clear that one of those skills is not like the others. There is one thing that is absolutely, positively essential for the city's survival. And this quote just brilliantly lays out the foundation of his entire political theory. You could have a council full of legal geniuses, military experts, and amazing public speakers. But if wisdom, if philosophy isn't in the mix, the outcome is certain. The city, as he says, is left without a king. It's lost its heart, its guiding compass, and its connection to truth. Its collapse isn't just a possibility, it's a guarantee. So the big takeaway is this. For Al-Farabi, philosophical wisdom isn't just a nice quality for a leader to have. It is the literal lifeblood of the state. Leadership that doesn't have this wisdom isn't just imperfect or inefficient, it's a fatal disease. It cuts the state off from its purpose and its place in the cosmic order and guarantees that it will eventually fall apart. And this leaves us with a really tough question for our own world, doesn't it? When we look at leaders today, what can we take away from Farabi's incredibly high standards? His whole framework makes us ask, what do we actually value in our leaders? Are we looking for wisdom, for justice, for a love of truth? Or have our societies kind of settled for the goals of those ignorant cities, just chasing wealth, power, and a little bit of security?